In this video, I'm going to go over how to format a couple of the phone columns in order to get the most mobile numbers into your Buyers on Fire account as you can. So this is a file that's back from batch skip, and I've only cropped out about 30 leads here just to demonstrate how the formula works that you want to use, and the formula will be in the post with the video. So basically, once you get your file, do not do anything to the file. Don't delete any columns until you do this first, and then you can go ahead and delete columns that you don't want to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to the phone columns. Now batch skip gives you about 10 different numbers, and they rank them by score as to highest on the left to lowest, and the highest being the one they think is the most accurate number to get in touch with that person at. Okay. So we have phone 0 number, type, and then score, phone 1 number, type, and score, and so on. We're just going to specifically be looking at these two columns, which is Q and T. And what I want you to notice with these numbers is that here at this first lead, the phone number that ends in 2600 is a landline. Okay, Buyers on Fire doesn't send voicemails and texts to landlines. It sends them to mobile numbers. So we need to use a mobile number. Well, this is a landline, and this is typically the column that you would match up to your Buyers on Fire account when you upload your leads. Well, if we look at column 2 here, the second phone column, we notice that this number is a mobile number. So I want to use that one. If we come down here to the third row, or third lead, we see that this one's labeled VoIP. I don't want to use that number because I can see here in this column it says mobile. Okay, so I want to use that number. But if you look on down, we see that there is a mobile number here. Okay, in this 6th row, I want to use that one because if I look in the next phone column, it says landline. Well, I don't want to use that. So what we want to do is we want to go down column R here, and we want to pick out mobile numbers, and we want to keep those. So anything that says mobile in this column, I want to use that. But if it says landline and VoIP, I don't want to use that. I want to look in the U column, and if it says mobile, I want to use that number. Okay? So what we're doing is we're using every mobile number in this first column, and then anything that is not a mobile number, we're gonna use the number in this column, and we're gonna basically be pulling more mobile numbers out. Okay, I've already pre-highlighted these, so I'm gonna go ahead and click over for that. So basically, you'll see that I've highlighted all the mobile numbers in column R. Those are numbers that we will see in our combined column, is what we're going to call it. So those numbers will be pulled over into a combined column, which we're going to use here in V. And then anything that says VoIP or landline, we're going to pull the number out of column T and use, which we see right here. We're going to be using that mobile number, that one, and that one. Okay, anything in green will be listed in the other column. So that's just for you visually, and we can compare once this is done. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete the score column. Don't really need it. So just right click on the top, hit delete column, and then this column U, I don't need that column, but instead of deleting it, click on the top of the column and then just hit the delete key on your keyboard. We want to clear the data but not the column. We're going to use this column for our mobile number or combined number. You can label this whatever you want, and I'm just going to label it mobile phone. Okay, again, you can label this whatever you want, and you don't have to center this. So this is the column we're going to use, and we're going to pull out our mobile numbers. So I've posted the formula out there. I'm going to copy and paste it here, and as you'll see, that formula, once I pasted it, pulled the number out of this second column. Okay, it ends in 719, pulled the mobile out here, 719, because this said landline. Okay, so it pulled in a mobile number. So what you can do now is click on that first cell there, and you can hover over the box corner that's blue and just drag that down. That drags the formula down. So right now we have the most mobile numbers we can out of these two columns. We want to stack these odds in our favor, okay? So again, if we look down through these, we see that they say landline or VoIP in the first column. Well, then if it says mobile here, that's the number it's being used. Is it being used? This one says 719, so does that. This says 919, so does that. This says 322, so does that. That's the number it's being used. Now here in these columns, or in these, it says mobile in the first set of numbers, okay? So the formula says it should stay, it should use that phone number. So this ends in 592, so does that. This one's green. Did it pull 207 over? It sure did. So this one here, first one's mobile. Did it pull 352 over? Yes, it did. If we go back one, this first one's a landline. So did it pull 017 over? And yes, it did. So if you look down through these two columns, basically, we have a lot of mobile numbers now. Okay. Now we can't do anything about the fact that it may say landline in the first column, landline in the second column. Okay. You may just have to get on the phone and call them. Okay, if that's the case. But what we're doing is we're trying to get the best numbers we can to upload into Buyers on Fire, and then and we want the most mobile numbers we can. Now, as you'll see, it has a formula in here. Basically, the formula, like I said, searches the first column here and type and says, are you a landline or VoIP? If you are, do not pull that number in. It's basically going to pull the second number in. But if it says mobile, it will leave that number in. So since the formulas are still here in this column, what I always like to do whenever I run formulas is click at the top of the column and then highlight it all, and then right click and hit copy, and then right click anywhere in one of these cells and hit paste, special, and go to values. What that does is, if you notice now when I click on these cells, it puts the phone number up here in this bar. Okay, the formula is no longer there. At that point, if I wanted to delete any of these columns before this column, it's okay, because I have the data in there now, not a formula. If you happen to leave the formula in and you go delete any of these columns, that will change, because remember, it's looking at a certain column header up here, which is the Q, R, and S and T. It's looking at those numbers. So that's how you format to get the most cell phone numbers in your batch skip spreadsheet before you upload to Buyers on Fire.